Hi everyone, this is Derek Ong, and for this particular video, I'm going to show you a new software called Power BI. Now, this particular video is just going to show you some of the basic things that Power BI can do, and also some of the really cool things that Power BI can help us with. So, what am I going to cover for this particular video is a few things. I'm going to show you what data perspectives are and why we are now moving towards a much more higher level of analytics. Telling you a little bit about Power BI and what is the software all about. And we're also going to look at some of the things that we can do in Power BI. So just very, very simple things like ribbon view, loading data, transforming data, some of the panes that you see in Power BI. We're going to look at some of the tables that we can create in Power BI, some visualizations, data drilling, filters and toggle views, so that we can see how to filter and toggle views. We can see multiple visualizations, and finally how to export the visualizations that we've made into PDF, as well as save and publish the dynamic report. So the first thing I want to talk to you guys about is data perspectives. Now, in the past, when you look at data analysis and analytics, what has happened is that people always report based on reactions. So these are common in most companies. That means they only report what they see, but they don't actually try to predict what's happening. Okay. In the present, they then start to do what is happening now, which means they're trying to report using KPIs and CPN concepts, and they just try to stream analytics. That means like what's happening live, for the motion. So this is what people are looking at. But if you want to look into the future, people are trying to see what will happen. That means people are trying to predict based on the trends and external data to understand the impacts and the what if analysis. So what we are trying to do here is that we're trying to see how can the reporting track in terms of management performance, and then how management performance can improve in terms of analyzing the future, and as of course using these analytics to predict the future, and basically use analytics to help with better business decisions. And this is what business intelligence is really all about. Okay, so what is Power BI? Power BI is actually a cloud-based service which is part of the Office 365 suite, and it allows you to access your data wherever you may have. So whatever data that you have stored on the cloud, you can actually access it with Power BI. You can ask questions, integrate with your Cortana analytics, and even more. And you can create curated content based on your organizational needs, which means that the data is there. All you need to do is just decide on what kind of visualization you want. You can share insights across the web, mobile, and also embed with your own applications. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to show you how you're going to download the Power BI free into your desktop. I'm going to show you where you can go. There are three versions of Power BI. There is the free version of the Power BI, which is what I'm going to be doing here for you. There is also the Power BI Pro, and then the Power BI Premium, which is a license fee. Now, this is not an end user tool, but it is a power user and designer tool. And it could be used to mesh, model, and design engaging experiences. This is really, really cool stuff that you can do. But you must make sure that you transform and clean the data first before you use any of the data, and design once and view anywhere as long as you save it onto the cloud. Okay, so I'm going to show you now how to look at the three different, actually I'm going to show you how to download Power BI, the free version. So remember, notice that there are three versions, which is the Power BI Desktop, and then of course there's the Power BI Premium, and then the Power BI Pro. Okay, so as I mentioned to you, you can download the Power BI desktop for PC free. Okay, this is the free version, which means there are certain constraints, but it doesn't matter. They actually can do a lot more things, which you can download into your PC. And I've actually got a Power BI thing here that I can show you, the desktop app. It's really, really cool. It does take a while for you to upload though, but before I go there, let me just show you how you can download Power BI in terms of in terms of into the desktop. So this is my Office 365. Now, usually your Office 365, you have all your Office suites here. I have my Power BI downloaded actually, but you can look at all apps. Now, when you go to all apps, click on Power BI, and then once you open up the Power BI, all you need to do is, if you see this, you're supposed to log in, and then click on this arrow that shows down here that says download. Now, when you click on this download, what it will do is you will be asked to whether you want to save it into your mobile or do you want to save it onto your desktop. So this is a great way to actually download your Power BI, right? And when you open up your Power BI, this is what you will get, a desktop version. And this is how you will look at. And I'll show you how to load the data and also do some really, really cool stuff in Power BI soon. Right. So first thing I want to show you is how do you get your Power BI doing some really, really cool stuff with Power BI, and how do you want to load your data set first, okay? So in order for you to do this, first you need to go and make sure you change the ribbon, because this is the old ribbon. You might want to look at how you want to look at the new from the new ribbon to the old ribbon. So what you do is this is just basically to make sure that you see the same thing as some of the video tutorials that you see online when it comes to the ribbon that you see. All right, so now you see is the old ribbon. So in order for you to change to the new ribbon, you have to go to File, Options and Settings, and go to Options. Now, once you click Options, you will see the preview features here. Make sure you click on the updated ribbon, and once you click on the updated ribbon, or you unclick the updated ribbon, you just have to toggle between which one works for you in terms of the ribbon similarities. Okay, so this is the old ribbon view. When you use the old ribbon view, you have to then, of course, make sure that you synchronize and make sure you unclick the updated ribbon view. So I'm going to start by getting in my data in. You notice that you can click get your data in through Excel and other means as well. Sometimes you can save your data set as a CSV file as well. So mine is an Excel file, so I'm just going to bring in my Excel file. And before I load my data, usually what I do is I make sure that my data is clicked onto the CA sales, which I want. Never ever straight away go and click load, because then, you know, if you click load, then the data will, you want to check the data first before you do anything. So always click on transform data. Now, when you transform your data, you will see that all the fields are here on the outside. The most important thing is look at the transform. You can do a lot of things. You can also have your R script or Python script, you have any, and you can also add some columns if you need to do a little bit of data cleaning if you need to. Now, for me, this data set is fine. So whenever you have finished working on your data set, always go to File and then choose Close and Apply. So mine is Close and Apply, and I'm just going to get the data to go into here. Okay, so once this is done, I can start putting in a few of my fields. If you notice that the fields are here from my table, the visualizations are here, and then some of the filters which you're going to use as well if you have any filters you want to use. I'm just going to choose a couple of data. If you notice, if I choose one data, it also goes right into a table form here automatically because it recognizes as a table. I'm going to choose date, maybe province, and revenue. And then you notice that a table is automatically shown here, which is quite nice. So this table here helps me to see what table I can do. I can also use any filters if I want to. So the filters, I can change the dates if I want using the Boolean expressions. And then I can put in a value here and then click on Apply Filter later on. Okay. Now, if let's say I want to put some toggling and do some visualization, for example, I can use the visualization here. I can do the line chart visualization, or actually no. What I want to do is I want to change this into visualization. So I can change the table straight away into visualization. So make sure you click on the table and then change it to a visualization straight away. Okay. One of the good things about this is you can also change any visualization you want. So if you want a clustered bar chart, you can use a clustered bar chart if you like. And you can also drill down your table. So for example, if let's say I want to go to the next level in the hierarchy, I can just do this quarter. This is by the month, and this is by the date. But if let's say I don't want to, I can drill all the way back up into the categories. Or I can also expand down straight away into all down by one level in the hierarchy. So it always depends on what kind of things you want. See, it adds on by one date by one date by one date. Notice how that works? Okay, let me just show you again. So if let's say this is by the category, I can change this to category date year. I can change this to category date quarter. I can change this to category date month. And I can change this to category date. And you notice that everything is by date. So it's really, really cool because the date, if you notice that the date has year, quarter, month, and day. So I'm basically changing the axis and drilling it down all the way. So I'm just going to go back up to the main one, which is by category. So it depends on which axis that you're using. Okay, right. So the next thing I want to look at is how do I change my visualization. Let's say this clustered bar chart is not a visualization I want to use. I can change it to maybe a line chart, for example. But this line chart doesn't make any sense to me because I want it to be like a line chart with the month showing. So I'm just going to leave the category out for now. And I'm going to take away the year, quarter, and just leave the month as it is. And in each month, you'd also notice that I also have the dates of the revenue amount, which is quite cool. And if let's say that I want the whole sum of the visualization, I can also show, let's say, this in a table form. I can right click here, I can show this as a table, and you notice that the table will come up. So I can do a comparison between months in terms of the sum of all the months by your provinces. And if I don't want the table, I can just go back to the table by clicking back the report. I can also toggle between the table view and also the model view and the report view as well, right here. Okay. If let's say I want to create a new page, if let's say one page is not good enough and I want to create a new page, I will then create another visualization on a new page and when I export it to PDF later on, it will show the 2 pages. But let's say if I don't want it, I don't need to have this. Yeah, permanently delete. So let's say I want a different view. I want another, let's say there's not enough space for me to see the whole thing. Let's say I want a gauge. Make sure you uncheck the this file here because it will overwrite the visualization. So I'm just going to uncheck the visualization and I'm going to choose a new one called gauge. Right now you notice that it sits on top here. You might just want to resize it a little bit. Okay, and then you can save it right there. And this one probably would be, in terms of views, revenue would be great. I can see the revenues in terms of the sum, right? Or I can look at the average, right? Or I can look at the maximum. Of course, if I look at the minimum, it doesn't make any sense. But sum basically is the sum of all the revenues together as one. Okay, so these are just some of the very cool things that you can do in terms of visualization. There are many other things that you can do. Remember, as I mentioned to you, you can also add in filters as well. The other thing that you might want to do is you might also want to publish it into the report. Now, once you publish it into report, I will show you what happens later on. So always what you do is when you click publish, you go to publish Power BI. You can save the changes if you want. And I've already got an introduction to Power BI, so I'm just going to replace the introduction to Power BI here and save it as my workspace. So select, replace. What it does is that it will publish to Power BI for me, and you notice that it will say success, and I can get a quick insights. Now, if I want a quick insights, what will happen is that it will open up now what will happen that it will open up my workspace for the Power BI. Sorry, I just go back, and then you get to see the app Power BI. Searching for insights, it will open up as many insights as it can for me. And it's actually running in the background, all these insights in the background, and you can see that many views of the same table, and you can click on any table if you want, and you can play around with the viewing of the table if you want to as well. Now, what about the ones that I just saved? That means not from the data set, but the visualization that I saved. So you can just click on my workspace here, and then you view reports. And once you view reports, you can look at the introduction to Power BI, and it will open up the report that you just did. Now, as I said, you can also play around with the dynamism of this if you go on to your workspace on the cloud, right? So you can really do a lot of very cool stuff if you do dynamic reporting. Okay, now, but what if you don't want the dynamic reporting and you want to export it to a PDF? You can also do that by exporting it to a PDF. And once you've exported to a PDF, right, you can open up, sorry, okay, so once you've exported to the PDF, you can also open it up quite large, and then you can use your snipping tool and you can snip whichever parts you want. You can then copy and paste it onto your Microsoft Word. So that's just all about the cool things you can do with Power BI. And I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Please look at some of the other things that you can do, but this is just some of the basic things that you can do with Power BI. Thank you for watching.